The taxiway. The taxiway should be 75. 75 from the edge of the runway. So 75 meters. So meters would be from where the yellow hash marks are to where the yellow hash marks are. It's gonna be sick, dude. Got it. We'll let you know if you have any questions. Kick butt, man. Yeah, Tiggs, right now, just focus on getting the dirt and filling in... Can we refresh here? Do we have a refresher? Can we see this yet? Nope, terrain hasn't updated. Yeah, just focus on grading it out. Alright, dudes, I'm going to stop playing Minecraft for now. And we will... I'm going to take 5 and we'll start Space News. Some Boeing stuff to talk about here. Yeah. Stuff that doesn't sound very ideal, but I'll clue you in on it. I'll clue you in on it as we go here. What Boeing did again? Super, they, here, let me just log out of Minecraft. I'm just signing out of Minecraft. Okay. Yeah, there's some strange-ish stuff going on. But yeah, I'm gonna take 5. I'll be back in a second. And we'll start up Space News. Thank you for watching. Got plenty of stream left, dudes.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, wait a minute. It's only been 7 Fagizzies, okay? Yeah, see, Yorkshire knows. It's only been 7 Fagizzies. Get off my case. It's only been 7, alright? I still had a couple of Fagizzies left. Who gives a Fagizzy? Forgives about it. Gabagool. Gabagool. Right? Alright, so let me get some space news links here. Here we go. Yeah. We were trying to go and see hold on. For Giz's sake, behold the field in which I grow my Fagizzies. Lay thine eyes upon it, and thou shalt see that it is barren. Alright, let me just get a couple more things here compiled with space news. There's some interesting news today. I'll be honest, it might be one of those bad space news kinds of days. Yeah, it might, yeah. They can't all be good. Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna try to not have it bother me too much and not get too emotionally invested, I suppose. I'm trying to get a couple of better things here. Space news. Is that the thing with Tori Bruno? I already have that, Bandit. Yeah. All right, we can start with some bare bones stuff. It's fine. All right, here we go. So, welcome to Space News, guys. Let's see. The EJ Space and Rocket Review. So we'll start off with the Lucy mission. Lucy mission is launching in about 12 hours, actually. Lucy mission, the NASA's Lucy mission is a very high-profile mission. Why is it high-profile? Well, this is going to be one of the first real deep dives, so to speak, into figuring out what's out there in the asteroid belt. So there's like, our solar system has like inner planets, and then there's an asteroid belt, and then there's the outer planets. So there's like Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and then like right around where Ceres' orbit is, which is a dwarf planet, there's a huge asteroid belt. Like, we're talking Empire Strikes Back asteroid belt. Dun 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 dun. So the possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1. Never tell me the odds. Yeah, like that. And then past that is, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, stuff like that. Okay, Vasi, I'll check those out. They released shorts on all that stuff. We went into pretty good detail about that stuff the other day, but yeah. I'll definitely look into it. Okay. Not this dense. I know it's not as it maybe not as bad as the Empire Strikes Back. Okay. Anyway, asteroids do not concern me. But Lucy's actually going to grav assist off multiple planets, right? Earth, actually, it's going to grav assist off Earth once or twice, and they're going to shoot it into a heliocentric orbit, right? A heliocentric elliptical orbit, and it'll grav assist off an asteroid, and that'll shoot it right back towards Earth. It'll use Earth and grav assist off Earth, and then go see some other asteroids on the other side of the solar system, and then it'll grav assist off another asteroid, and then it'll come back. Like, it's an 11-year mission. It's going to take some time, but it is a really freaking cool mission. Here. And to tell you a little bit more about it here, once again, launching in 12 hours, 5:34 a.m. Eastern Time. It's 5:15 right now, so we got 12 hours and 15 minutes and change until the thing launches. So if you look at your clock, add 15 minutes, and then add 12 hours to that. That is when it's launching. So we're staying up for 12 hours. I'm going to try Zero, but I might need to take a break. Because the Route 154 stuff that we're going to do tomorrow. So tomorrow, also, just on a side note while we're here, we're doing a small Route 154 stream where we're going to drive up to New Hampshire, basically mimicking one of the Rona road trips that I did a little while back. So, yeah, it should be pretty freaking cool. But anyway, here's more about the Lucy mission here. There was boss from Dr. Zerbukin here. He is the head of the Science Mission Directorate over at NASA. That is a guy that runs all science mission that is interplanetary and even some missions that are here around Earth. He is the guy that runs the whole thing. This is him right there.
Hi, I'm Tori Bruno, CEO of United Launch Alliance, and I'm here at Space Launch Complex 41 in front of the mighty Atlas rocket about to launch Lucy out to the Trojans of Jupiter. And I'm here with Thomas Buchan, one of my good friends and one of the smartest people I know, to see this historic launch. Thomas, could you tell us a little bit about Lucy?
Absolutely. So we're going to the Trojans, like you said, and I have to tell you, it's kind of amazing that there's a whole population of celestial bodies we know about. There's millions of them, and we've never observed them. And they've been out there for 4 billion years or so when Jupiter was formed. They got put in a refrigerator. They got stuck there, and they've been there, and we're going to explore them. What we want to learn about them, of course, is our own history. The history of the creation of the solar system, how it was formed by this accretion, by all these processes, and those are the pristine original rocks. So that's what we seek to do with this. 8 missions in one, 8 flybys in one single spacecraft.
Incredible. Well, I got to tell you, we are so humbled to have won this mission and been selected for it, because this is the work that is so exciting. It matters to learn about our origins and the origins of our solar system. I can't tell you how over the moon we are.
So of course we're here because that spacecraft sits on top of the rocket, and for me, the miracle of flight, space flight, taking it out of gravity, the Earth's gravity well, is just still something that, frankly, I lay asleep at night thinking about. It's just that's possible. So tell us, what's special about this rocket? What are the essential parts?
Oh, absolutely. So this is our mighty Atlas. It's in what we call a 401 or slick configuration. So there's no solids, but that precious spacecraft is actually quite small for the capacity of this rocket. So sitting there, fully fueled tomorrow, 740,000 pounds of propellant, and then our 1.5 metric ton or 3,300 pound precious cargo on top. Atlas will raise it up into the sky. One of the things that's special about this rocket are our guidance algorithms, because when we do an interplanetary or any kind of rendezvous mission, normally we need to right away fly into the orbital plane that we're going to, our target orbital plane. And that's an instantaneous launch window, except for Mighty Atlas, because we have the RAM steering guidance system we invented so that we can not have a 1-second launch window, but a 4,000 second launch window, 75 minutes. so that if there's a boat or a plane or an ice ball on an umbilical, we're going to have every chance to get this rocket off. So that's what's special. And we also plan to give you more insertion accuracy than you asked for, just in case you want to clean that mission.
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to that launch. I saw up on the rocket there's a sign called Lucy Strong. And of course, the team celebrated the amazing work. Lucy Strong also relates to your company, to your team. What does it mean to you?
Well, for us, it means working together, and getting through the challenges on COVID, and making this launch happen, and being able to be a part of something so important and to serve your mission. And I got to tell you, your team is amazing. They persevered through all of this. They work like a team with our people, and I'm just so proud to be a part of it.
Well, Tori, I couldn't be more excited to be here with you. I want to thank you and your team for their partnership, and of course you also for your friendship. And the most important thing I want to do is also congratulate you for a promotion that you just got to Grandpa. So what an amazing thing, and I just couldn't be more excited for you and your entire family.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, I'll tell all of you that Thomas and I collaborated, and we felt we should name the baby Lucy. But my daughter and her husband had other ideas. So I'm going to tell you what, that's her name for me.
Lucy, I look forward to meeting her.
You will.
If only they could fix the audio quality, we probably would have been able to tell that that was a really good conversation. Have I watched Shinjiao? No, I have not. Tori Bruno's daughter had a baby. He's a grandpa now. He's Grandpa Bruno. That's what they were talking about. But so the guy on the right was Thomas Zurbuchen. He's the guy that runs NASA's Science Mission Directorate. That is the guy that's in charge of all like interplanetary unmanned probes. So Perseverance, Curiosity, Spirit, and Opportunity when they were still running. Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, Maven, Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, the OSIRIS-REx mission, Bennu, Apollo 8. I think I said New Horizons already. And this Lucy mission, and then later there's the Double Asteroid Redirect mission, DART, and then there's the Psyche mission, which will go and sample an asteroid that supposedly has tons of like rare, trillions of dollars worth of rare earth metals. It's really cool that NASA's really taking that asteroid mining stuff. Not asteroid mining, but right now they're kind of asteroid surveying, I guess. But it's cool that they're taking it seriously. You know, asteroid mining could be one of the ways that, you know, we could offshore manufacturing up on orbit, and you know, we, you know, could, you know, not screw this planet up. That'd be pretty cool. It'd be cool in the future if Earth was just one big national park. That'd be really neat. New Horizons Animal Crossing. Oh gosh. Must be German. He is originally from Switzerland. He also might be a Formula One team boss for the Haas racing team. Asteroid prospecting, maybe. Well, OSIRIS-REx did sample the asteroid, Vanguard. What if they sample it and find gold in it or something? You know, it's possible. Like Dr. Zurbuchen was saying, whatever formed our solar system, the asteroid belt is kind of, and the planets, for what it's worth, are basically the leftovers. Yeah, that's the leftover stuff. So it's kind of like the byproduct of solar system formation. It's been up there, he said, for 4 billion years, but it's in the vacuum. It's relatively untouched. It would be, you know, on top of like mining, it'd be a great way to understand why the heck we exist in the damn solar system. You know, that would be kind of a good question. That'd be kind of a good question, I think. Good question to answer, something like that. Is this Holloman, Hellfish? What'd you link up? The Kuiper Belt and the Oort Cloud? Yep.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
So he's why Belters are going to have an accent dialect in the future. Yes, yeah. He is really the one that has a really interesting accent. But yeah, that's because he is from Switzerland. The part of Switzerland that speaks German is where he's from. No, he's been an American for a long time. I think he's a Michigan guy, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, he's been NASA's science kind of like chief. It's not called chief science officer, but I'm gonna call it that anyway. You know, Bill Shatner's been to space now, so call it that. No, he's the associate administrator for the Science Mission Directorate. That's like number 5 or number 6 at NASA, somewhere around there. Hey, Lego, what's up, buddy? If asteroids have oil, then people might try. I know it's nearly impossible. That's going to be the real big one, dude. I mean, everybody makes the joke, Lego, that if we find, like, oil on Mars, or if we find oil on the moon, or if we find oil in this place, or oil at an asteroid or whatever, that's going to change things. I mean, yes, but also, like, on top of, like, okay, if we have oil, that means, you know, if there's oil that exists that's not on Earth, that's a huge deal for like manufacturing and stuff, but it's also a huge deal for life, because that would mean that there was life on that planet at some point with our current understanding about how oil like naturally occurs, right? Gold is easy. You go for dilithium. Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't? Oil in space equals more funding coming to NASA for sure, right? Realistically, Pandaman, if we like send somebody to Artemis and they go and break the ice cap and oil starts shooting out, I'm not 100% sure exactly how that's going to, like, how is that going? How would that actually, like, okay, everybody makes the joke that like, oh, people would be fighting over it, blah, blah, but how would that actually pan out? Really? Would NASA actually get more funding? I don't know. There can't be oil in space. I mean, sure. And flying was impossible for men until it wasn't. And going to the moon was impossible until it wasn't. You don't know that for sure. It's unlikely, absolutely. It will not shoot out, it will be frozen. I'm about to finish eating my flaming hot Cheetos for that comment, Indo. There's already oil on Earth, too expensive to collect, so collecting oil on the moon or Mars is even more expensive. I mean, it'd be great. It'd be great for power generation. Let me put it to you like that. I think it would mostly be confusion, yeah, right? Hey, Everest, what's going on? EJ, chat is too literal. It's okay, Luke. Sometimes it's just got to deal with it as a streamer. Yes, Fifi. What are the laws for ownership on the moon? Magnus, it's technically like international waters. In 1967, the Soviet Union, the U.S., any spacefaring country worth their weight in, knowledge of being able to launch people into space, signed a treaty basically making space kind of like it's international waters, basically. Neutral territory, You made it through 2 exams. Congratulations. I don't think even... I don't know. Like, if we just struck crude on the moon, I'm not sure. It would be great for the moon. Like, that would make living on the moon way more sustainable. Well, not really sustainable, but it would make it easier. And I think that's really the only thing. Like, dude, the whole moon would have to be a big thing of oil for that to, like, imagine if, we dig down and we just pop it open and it's like looking into the nether in Minecraft and instead of lava, it's just oil. Like, that's when it would be like, oh, that's when it would change, but I don't, like, even if they found, like, trace amounts, that would be more of a scientific breakthrough, right? Like, oh, wow, there's carbon-based stuff on the moon, right? The Luna oil wars. Magnus, you're not a For All Mankind writer by any chance, are you? Titan, though, hydrocarbon lakes. Yeah, we do know it's there, Ando. That's right. I mean, Ando, like, honestly, finding oil on another planet would not answer any questions. It would give me more questions. I'd be like, what? Why is that there? That's not supposed to be there. What the frick? You know? Don't want to mess with the moon too much. It could affect Earth. The only thing that's really gonna the only thing that would really mess that up, Tech Guy, is if we like Death Starred the moon. That's when it would really be a problem. You want climate change? That's a real good way to change the climate on Earth. Yeah, if you Death Starred the moon, we could take the biggest pit mine on Earth and put it on the moon, and it wouldn't make a difference. It would be a negligible. I mean, it would make a difference. It would do something, but it would be a negligible difference. As long as that mass is staying on the moon, it's really not a big deal. Hydrocarbon-based bodies would be basically fuel stops. I mean, Titan, Lego. Titan is a fuel stop, dude, and that's something we already know. Methane oceans. Methane exists as a liquid naturally on Titan, which is just all right. I mean, sure, it's cold. Why not? Let's pollute the moon, not Earth. Now, Ando, that's something that that's fine. I mean, well, but see, here's the thing. Like, at face value, you'd be like, oh, just pollute the moon. It's not a big deal. How do you know you're not screwing up a local ecosystem? Tech Guy is right. But then again, you know, everyone makes the, we should fix problems here before we go into space argument. Like, what's his face over across the pond saying that the other day. It's like, wow, you really have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, wow. All right, cool. I don't know why I listen to you at all. Anyway. So just pollute space. I mean, space is a vacuum. We know there's nothing there. There's nothing to pollute. There's nothing to change. So. Cerebral, straight up. We're not 100% sure. We've literally only scratched the surface, Ando. Gene Cernan and Jack Schmidt dug a 1 meter deep hole on the moon, and they found frigging orange rocks. Orange. Look. They dug a hole on the moon, and they were like, this is what they found. Dude, we know dick about the moon. It's not rust. It's not oxidization. There's no oxygen for it to oxidize. How the heck did that happen? It's some leftover geological deposit from volcanic activity, basically. Or Jack Schmidt dropped his Cheetos. I mean, it could be that. It's pretty crazy, right? His reaction is awesome. It's orange. What the? It's orange. What? How? How is that possible? Greek name asteroid Psyche has enough gold to make us all billionaires. Yep. See, asteroids for rare earth metals would be great, but that still doesn't solve our hydrocarbon problem. We're entirely dependent on that stuff. Big bag of Cheetos, though. Hey, well, Cheetos are light, dude. They're light, so they're easy to take on a spacecraft. Not very high mass. That was a joke. So that orange is leftover volcanic glass. That's what it is. Also, you know, since we're talking about Apollo 17, I just want to show you guys this picture, just because it's always a thing to talk about this picture for Apollo 17. I mean, you know, if you don't know too much about the lunar missions in general, Apollo 11, Apollo 12, Apollo 13 didn't go to the moon. Apollo 14, so 11, 12, and 14, they only really spent like maybe 20 hours on the surface. The 1 day night cycle, not even a full Earth day, right? Apollo 8, yeah. 15, 16, and 17 were K missions, meaning they had an upgraded lunar lander with the rover on it and stuff. Gene Cernan and Jack Schmidt spent 3 days on the moon. And they ventured as far as 5 miles away from their landing site in the lunar rover. 5 miles. That's what is that? 8 kilometers away. Some of the pictures from 17 are just absolutely insane. Did they ever flip the rover? Nope, never happened. Yeah, so if you want to go look at some crazy pictures from, just look up Apollo 17 EVA. It will probably show you the deep space EVA, but some of these pictures are very, like, huh? How fast does the rover go? 4 or 5 miles an hour. Some of these pictures that they took it, what was it, the Ocean of Storms? Unbelievable. Just unbelievable pictures. Wow, KSP-2 is looking really good. Yeah, right. Why did Apollo 17 do a deep space EVA? Oh, that's a good question. I think it was to retrieve photos from a camera mount on the Apollo CSM, I think. Don't quote me on that one. The later missions as part of the Apollo applications program, these Lunar K missions, Bandit had the command service module was basically they had optical kits on it for it to take pictures of the surface. And I think the deep space EVAs were them retrieving the film, if I'm remembering correctly, but I could be wrong.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, Mac. Hey, stranger. Not watched in a long time. Sorry, I've been busy at work. There is a partnership between NASA and Boeing that I've been assisting with. Do you know how complicated it is to measure a piece of flight hardware with a CMM when there are no flat planes that can be used as reference? Everything is curved on this dang piece of flight hardware. Yeah, point of reference, man. It's tough. Hey, Chris, 61-month resub. Back again. Thanks, buddy. Didn't bring back any of the cheese on the moon, though. Yeah, shame. I know. If it's moon cheese, it's vegan, and it would probably be cheaper than vegan cheese. I see no fault in this logic. Taurus Littrow is where they landed. Here's a map of where they went. Like, they went around. They went a long way, man. Yeah, Bandit, I think it was to retrieve the film. But yeah, they realized that the Apollo program was on its way out by the time Apollo 15 rolled around. Like, so what they did was they started taking stuff that was going to be... Oh, dude. Oh, man. I don't want to talk about the Apollo applications program. I'm going to get annoyed. Here. The Apollo applications program was basically, as the name implies, taking the hardware that we use to go to the moon and getting it to do other things. Some AAP stuff happened, some AAP stuff did not. One that did happen was this one. You guys might know this one. Skylab was Apollo applications, using lunar architecture, the lunar module, etc., using all that to basically make a space station, right? That was part of the Apollo applications program. The lunar buggies, the lunar rovers, AAP. That's some of the stuff that did happen, and then the imaging, the CSM imaging stuff, Bandit. That was one of them as well. Back, here we go. 6 months for going AWOL on you. Hey, thanks, man. Apollo 18 was used for Skylab, if I'm remembering right. Oh, man, this is where it gets annoying. Dude, they had a roadmap basically for like all the way into the 80s for what they wanted to do with Apollo missions. So Skylab started as a space station idea, right? And one of the ideas that kind of branched off of Skylab was what I'm about to show you here. This is the
Discovery, go at throttle up.
AAP Venus flyby. What they were basically going to do... Any Star Wars stuff at that point? Nah, not really. This is still pretty cool, though. What they were going to do is basically take a Saturn V upper stage and then take the conic adapter where the lunar lander would be, right? And basically make that into a solid pressurized chamber and then basically put a docking port on the top. So what happens is this thing would go for trans-Venusian injection. So it would shoot off to a transfer orbit around that would fly by Venus and then come back to Earth. And then the Apollo capsule would undock from it, turn around, dock to it, and it basically makes a spaceship that's capable of long-duration flybys. That's what they wanted to do. They were going to take basically Saturn V's third stage and turn it into a spaceship. Which is annoying as frick. And it would Skylab, some of the stuff that was going to be for that program found its way into the Skylab program. But yeah, that. With people in it. Manned Venus flyby, DAC. Everybody, like, okay. Everybody thinks the next logical step nowadays because of Elon Musk, right? And this isn't a bad thing. Everybody thinks that the next logical step, after we go back to the moon, is to go to Mars, right? The Apollo program was not going to do that. Mars was in the roadmap in the 80s, I think. They wanted to do a Venus flyby first. Yeah, that's where the Apollo program was going to go. After like routine they were basically going to use the lunar lander, right? They were going to launch a Saturn V with a lunar lander on it, but instead of the ascent module on it, it had a HAB module, kind of like this. Land the lunar lander down on the surface, and then send like a regular Saturn V with the lunar lander. Land the lunar lander next to it, and then have the HAB module be the moon base. Dude, the AAP, the Apollo Applications Program was nuts. Like, you saw some of it in For All Mankind, if you know a little bit, if you watched that show. Dude, they had some nutso stuff planned. It was really cool. See? They were gonna do a Venus flyby. Manned Venus flyby in the late 70s. Yeah. And then they were going to do Skylab on top of that and operate a moon base. The Surveyor, the Ranger program, and then the Apollo programs are basically scouting for sites for a good moon base. That's why during these longer duration missions, they looked around more. In Taurus Littrow, Ocean of Storms. Where was the other ones? I forget. They were not necessarily prospecting for resources, but they were looking for not geological phenomenon, but a good place to put a base, basically. Yeah, that's where the AAP was going. It was nuts. Not so. And hopefully Artemis can kind of pick up that slack. But yeah, AAP was really, really cool. Really, really cool idea. Van, it's really solid architecture. Like, dude, the in-flight architecture is so ridiculously good that it makes up for the fact that we'd be expending like 3 or 4 Saturn V's a year. Totally makes up for it. Like, dude, I don't mind an expendable rocket. That's totally fine. If it gets us like a manned Venus flyby, I'm totally cool with that. It's just like with the shuttle engines and SLS. I'll trade that for boots on the moon. That's fine. Annoying, but fine. Imagine what we could do if we didn't have to spend money on defense. Yeah. You know what, Cheese Weasel? It's something that I always try to teach people. Yeah, I know. At face value, you look at the defense budget, which is like $700 billion. You look at NASA's, which is like $20 billion, and you're like, bruh, right? But you know what the messed up part is? Spaceflight is not that expensive. It really isn't. It's not as expensive as you think. We get sticker shock from the prices from NASA missions because NASA, by law, has to disclose how much stuff costs. The Department of Defense, not so much. I don't know whether to laugh or cry on that one, but you get the idea. You know what I'm talking about. Dude, honestly, doubling NASA's budget, moon base, Mars base, yeah, no problem. Easy. Seriously. you don't even need 700 billion. 700 billion, NASA would be useless. You know why? Because nothing would get done because that's way too expensive. You don't go to buy a Toyota Corolla with Ferrari money. You know what I'm saying? You don't walk into a Toyota dealership with 100 grand in cash and go, I want that Corolla over there. They'd be like, do you want anything else? Oh, the price on that Corolla just went up. It's 83 grand now. I know it says 27 on it, but now it's 83. It's 83 for you because we like you. Wait, what? You know, dude, like, it's not even that complicated, dude. We don't need 700 billion for NASA. That would be a waste of money. 40 billion would do it just fine. Easy. And I know it's like, oh, just $40 billion, man, right? Like, $40 billion is a drop in the bucket for Uncle Sam, guys. It's expensive for me and you, but you got to think on a macro scale here. But I'm with you on that one. NASA could do the... Dude, if NASA's budget was doubled tomorrow, we could bring back the Saturn V and all of its equipment modernized. It'd take about a decade to do. I'll be honest with you. That would take about a decade to bring everything back and get to where we were at the end of Apollo 17. Take about a decade. But that's like Saturn V, the launch pads, re-equipping the VAB, more mobile launchers, etc., etc. All the equipment, everything, the EVA suits, everything fully funded. Give it about 10 years, we could get right back to where we are. I mean, but see, like, here's the thing. We're already basically doing that with the Artemis program. But yeah, if NASA's budget was doubled, we could operate SLS and the Saturn V and commercial crew and all of NASA's missions and probably have like 3 or 4 billion left over. Oh yeah, you could really, like, spaceflight is not that expensive, you know? But we can't get back the engineers. Supercraft, when they say we can't re-engineer the F1 nowadays, first of all, that's dumb. We absolutely could. The real caveat to that is that we don't do it because it's going to cost a lot of money. It would take a lot of time and testing to get back to where we were. You might as well, instead of going back to where you were, you might as well make something new. That's always been the mentality, which is funny because SLS has shuttle engines on it, but I digress. Why can't we fold NASA funding back into the mill budgeting again? It never was part of the mill budgeting, but I don't know, maybe. I mean, Space Force is kind of doing that. You know, people say, oh, don't fund the Space Force, you fund NASA. Well, funding the Space Force is more money for the spaceflight industry, whether you like that or not. And yeah, no, let's do that. That's fine. I'm good with that. You should double the Space Force's budget. That's cool. Do that. But we have shuttle engines. That's true. And more importantly, we have the engineers that designed them. They're still alive. Go figure. Why not copy pasta the mission? 3 SLS missions to the moon per year. Nah, how about 30? Dude, I would take 3 SLS missions to the year. Heck, I'll take 2. 2 would be fine. 2 SLS launches a year. I'm okay with that. Like, that would be good enough. 4 would be better, though. 4 missions a year. Launch 1 every quarter. That's right, boring. Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. More money. It's funny, boring, because, you know, the Space Force funded under the Phase 1 of the Launch Services Agreement, right, for the NSSL program. They funded Northrop Grumman to make carbon composite SRBs for the Omega program, right? You're right. And that technology will end up finding its way to NASA. That's $500 million worth of defense funding that's going to find its way into a NASA program. So, I mean, Northrop Grumman weaseled the Space Force, if you ask me. But, hey, that's the hustle, man. That's the hustle. You're here to make money, right? So I've seen a whole bunch of parts come through for this project. Let me see. Oh, lofted. Yeah. Low Earth orbital flight test of an inflatable decelerator. Cool. What's the flyaway cost of an RS-25E? Well, the price point is based on how many engines NASA wants to buy, Hellfish. They're expensive right now. It's like $25 million an engine or something. That cost goes down if you buy in bulk. Start building solid Nerva propulsion in LEO. Yeah, NASA's working on that.com. They restarted the Nerva program in 2018. Seriously. It was in the 5th or 6th National Spaceflight Council. Yeah. Jim. They restarted Nerva. Oh, yeah. Yeah, nuclear drives are coming. That's not bad. NASA should buy 1,000 of them. You get no argument from me. I mean, that would be good for 250 SLS launches. Maybe we don't need that many. I'd go with 200. 200 would be fine. That's good for 50 SLS missions. 50 SLS missions for a year would be good for 25 years. 25 years, 4 SLS launches every year to the Gateway and to the Moon. That would be really good. Yeah, I would take that. That's fine. Nerva coming back when you Apollo 8 to China. Just as easy as falling off a log. But anyway, a little bit of digression there. Let's get back into space news. So while we're on the subject of stuff getting delayed and getting canceled, here you go. Here, have this one. Try this one on for size. Boeing now says that the Orbital Flight Test 2 for Starliner is net mid-2022. Launch a month is a little steep for SLS, Hellfish, but yeah. So this is an article coming from Jeff Faust. Jeff Faust says he spoke with Boeing executives. He's the senior writer at Space News, by the way. He spoke with Boeing executives this week about the ongoing Starliner valve investigation. They continue to think the likely cause is moisture reacting with a nitrogen tetroxide while working through a fault tree to rule out any other explanations. One thing they have ruled out is any role played by environmental tests, called EQT, that the spacecraft went through before being prepared for OFT-2. The valves that were replaced after EQT also suffered the same problem. So let me bring you up to speed. Don't get all pissy. Just listen, all right? Let's put the judgment cap over here, and Lord knows you can. Yeah, I think you can at this point. But just give me a second. Let me get everybody up to speed. Boeing had their capsule, the Starliner capsule for the crew flight test mission. Or not CFT, the OFT-2 capsule, excuse me. They had the Orbital Flight Test 2 capsule out on the pad, literally stacked on the rocket, and they were a day away from launching. And then something happened. They noticed that the valves that control the thrusters on the capsule had trace amounts of basically rust inside of them. Not something you want on your spacecraft. If you don't know me, I like cars. Rust is a car's enemy. Rust is really a spacecraft's enemy. Yeah, you don't want that. That's bad. You have a rusty car, something breaks, you pull over to the side of the road. I would know a lot about that. That happened to me the other day. You can't pull over to the side of the road in a spaceship. Yeah, no, rust is bad. You don't want rust inside of these valves. So they took the capsule off the stack, they took it back to the hangar, and now they're trying to figure out why those valves got rusty. The rust was basically causing the valve to stick shut. So they couldn't open up the thruster system. So if they had launched it, they would have launched the thing, it would have separated, and then it would have just... because the thrusters wouldn't have been able to turn on. So they replaced the valves that were rusty, and then the crazy part is the valves that they replaced also got rusty. So I didn't know that part, first of all. I had previously said that the reason why these valves are having problems is quite literally because Starliner had sat. The OFT-2 mission was set to go off sometime last summer, so a couple of months ago, right? But here's the thing. The capsule was ready at the beginning of this year. So that capsule sat. It sat for a long time. It sat for like 6 months, just sitting there in the hangar, just nobody doing nothing. Anybody that knows anything about mechanical equipment, like I said, I'll go back to cars for a second, knows that if you leave a car sitting there doing nothing, that is the worst thing that you can do to it. It is the worst thing that you can do to it aside from driving it off a cliff. Cars sitting there, mechanical equipment that sits there and that does nothing, that's terrible. That is terrible for a car. And I can only imagine the spacecraft, because you can't pull over to the side of the road, also probably not a good thing. I had theorized that that's the reason why that problem happened. The reason why I thought that, that was just a theory for me. And I got a lot of flack for it one time in chat when I said it. The reason why I had thought about that is because these valves that Boeing is using are shuttle valves. Starliner is basically using a bunch of leftover shuttle parts in capsule form. It's about as close as you can get to the space shuttle without it being a space shuttle. It has shuttle parts all over it, from the tiles, the Nomex, the valve systems, the fueling systems, for the capsule, for the service module. The service module is basically an ohms pod from a shuttle, from what I understand. It's very similar. Boeing did that because why reinvent the wheel? You know this works on the space shuttle. It'll work just fine on the capsule, right? Well, I'm sure that guy is eating his words at this point. I had previously theorized that. It very much seems like that's wrong. Because Boeing did environmental testing. They did the EQT testing, like Jeff said in that article, and there was still problems. And then the valves that they replaced also rusted. Second law of thermodynamics, entropy will always increase. Dude, thermodynamics is a pain in the butt, Staples. What a pain in the butt, dude. Isn't it like spacecraft get left outside in the elements? Well, Doom, that's the other thing that I thought. I thought Starliner, because a monsoon hit Starliner when it was out on the pad. I thought that might be the reason for rust, but Boeing's fault team concluded that that had nothing to do with it. It was negligible. Was Ms-18 talked about? Haven't gotten to it yet. We need to do this. Huh? Oh, that would be cool, W, yeah. So, will titanium valves fix it? Actually, no, Lego. Titanium valves will make it worse. Nitrogen tetroxide under pressure is an oxidizer for titanium as fuel. SpaceX figured that one out the hard way. Seriously, nitrogen tetroxide is an oxidizer. And if it's at a certain pressure and it hits titanium under pressure, titanium turns to liquid fuel and it explodes. SpaceX figured out that the hard way. They also had NTO leaking in their valves, and they pressurized the system, and there was nitrogen tetroxide where it shouldn't be, and it hit a titanium valve and blew up like a bullet hitting a firecracker. It blew the entire capsule to smithereens. Yeah, so titanium, no, bad idea. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Not a good call. Not very coggers, okay? So tungsten, I'm sure tungsten would be fine firework, but tungsten's heavy. Remember, the name of the game was making the spacecraft with low dry mass as possible. More fuel on the spacecraft, less spacecraft on the spacecraft will make a more efficient spacecraft. PVC? Titanium-powered rockets. When? It's funny you should mention that, Brimo. The Space Shuttle and SLS SRBs have aluminum in there as a stabilizer. So the SLS and Shuttle SRBs actually burn aluminum as fuel. Flakes of aluminum. No, I'm not kidding. Yeah. Metals are flammable. Certain metals are flammable under the right conditions. Magnesium is flammable at room temperature if you introduce it to a flame. Yeah, I know. Physics. Pain in the butt, man. So that's what caused that. I never knew. Yeah, Van. They put check valves. They put check valves in the fuel system. SpaceX did like what you'd see on a compressor. You know, like on an air compressor, you go and take the impact gun. There's a check valve. So if it overpressurizes, it'll blow the valve out instead of blowing up the tank. Yeah, SpaceX put those in Dragon 2's design to make sure if the poop hits the fan, it's just going to blow the check valve out and won't blow the entire system up. Yeah. 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 Titanium. Titanium valves will make it worse. Nitrogen tetroxide under pressure is an oxidizer for titanium as fuel. SpaceX figured out that the hard way. They also had NTO leaking in their valves, and there was nitrogen tetroxide where it shouldn't be, and it hit a titanium valve and blew up like a bullet hitting a firecracker. Yeah. Whoops. So ceramic made me. I'm not sure what's going on, Quick Cut, with Starliner. What I do know is at this point, one of two things is possible. Like I said, I theorize that because the valves are shuttle derived, Boeing should have a lot of data about how these valves actually work. They should have a lot of data about it. There should be plenty of circumstances from the 40 years of shuttle missions to understand how these valves work, and why they do that. They did, from what I understand as well, they also had problems on the shuttle with corrosion in the valves, but they had fixed it. So this problem just came back. What? Right? So I had assumed that because they had so much data on how these valves work, that it had to have been something new that they're introducing. What's the only difference between, you know, the two circumstances? The capsule sat. The shuttles really never sat in their hangar like that. You know, it was put the shuttle together, you know, and it's sitting because they're putting it back together and then go to launch the thing. But even then, shuttles did sit in the hangar for a good amount of time. So you'd think, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, that they would know why that's going on. But clearly they don't. So one of two things is going on here. It's either a processing problem, like leaving the spacecraft there, sitting there, but that is looking less and less likely at this point. Or somebody didn't do their homework during testing. Yeah. I was never willing to give the ladder there, you know, even a thought until what I read here today. I always thought, no, this is just a processing issue because it's a new capsule. It's just a teething problem. Spacecraft have teething problems. Dragon had teething problems. It literally blew up on the test stand. The shuttle had teething problems. Tiles fell off on the first flight. Even, it's kind of morbid, but the Apollo capsule had teething problems just like that. Freaking killed 3 people. Because they didn't know how to design the hatch right. Because engineering ease overruled user experience, I guess, in that particular case. Starship 20 had teething problems. Yeah, every spacecraft has teething problems, but man, the valves that you have 40 years of experience with, you're gonna have problems here. Like, what the hell happened, guys? Like, did this happen on the OFT-1 mission? Like, but then again, the OFT-2 mission was being entirely funded by Boeing. Boeing's footing the entire build of that project. Were you doing game item drops last night? I guess so. I don't know how it got enabled, John, but yeah. Why don't they, like, cover up the capsule with a tarp when they are waiting in the launch window? I mean, Dak, well, that would be a solution. I mean, they do, for what it's worth. Look, here. Look at this picture from Space News. This is a picture of the capsule inside. Yeah, see, they cover up all the extremities on the capsule on purpose so this stuff doesn't happen. There's no foreign object debris inside, right? But, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with this thing. It's... I kind of want to read the article here. Do you think the astronauts were reassigned because the reason they stated, or they don't feel safe flying Boeing right now? Well, Gabe, the astronauts that were reassigned were from Starliner's operational missions, so that would have been post-crew flight test. So I think it was the first one. The astronauts not thinking the capsule is safe has nothing to do with it. If the test pilots think that it's not safe, then you got a problem. So that's Eric Bowe and Nicole Mann, and then Barry Wilmore. Those are the 3 test pilots for the Starliner crew flight test. Though they were not moved. The astronauts that were supposed to fly on Starliner for the second time after the test flight, Boeing's equivalent of Crew 1, were the ones that got moved. So no, I don't think the astronauts are afraid. This tells me that yeah, they're just not ready. Nicole was moved? No, Nicole Mann is from the CFT. So Eric and Barry are still on the test. Interesting. Thank you for keeping the Route 154 merch store open. I got 2 new stickers for your car. Right on, John. Yeah, this is... I mean, guys, like, here's the thing. My gut's telling me to start dumping on Boeing. Seriously, you can't get this right? You literally have the engineering expertise under your level from this under your purview from the Apollo program and the shuttle program. From literally almost every NASA human spaceflight mission, you guys have that technical expertise behind you, and you still screwed it up. Like, my gut wants me to say that, but here's the thing, guys. It's rocket science. It's difficult. It's hard to do. Like, even for a company that has a lot of prior experience, that doesn't mean anything. How many frigging times, Mac? I can't read all that, dude. Dude, give me a second. I lost my train of thought. How many times has Boeing made a capsule in the past? Anyone? Boeing Space literally has experience making satellites. And it's not like they took all the shuttle engineers after the shuttle program ended and just put them on the Starliner team. No, they hired new. They didn't promote from within. We know that for a fact. Because they laid off all the people in the shuttle program after STS-135 landed, literally the day after. I'll read that in a second, Mac, but let me finish this. You know, you gotta, like, with space flights, you gotta focus on one thing. They had the engineering expertise, now they have the management expertise. So, like, you got like, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because I know how difficult this is, and I don't want to dump on the people that are engineering this thing, but it's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, is Starliner using a newer operating system? It's using something. Also, Boeing's satellite expertise stems from Millennium Space Systems acquisition. Rocket guy. Okay, Mac, what was your story here? Yeah, it's not good. All right, here's a story for you. EJ, you'll enjoy this. I'm technically an intern, but I'm still technically a civil servant. I bought Delta 8 THC gummies as a gift for a friend on, like, Thursday. Delta 8 is a legal project that contains THC. You can buy it in any state at a vape shop. Go Google it. I believe you. The next coming Tuesday or Wednesday, I cannot remember, I get an email from the drug department of HR. It says that it was a reminder that I'm subject to random drug testing. That I have to take one right now, but 30 days after that email, they can call me in. That I do have to take one right now, or I don't have to take one right now, but 30 days after that email, they can call me in for a drug test. Creepy. I am in the middle of going through my re-up of your security clearance. They go through your finances, but come on, government, for real. I bought legal as a gift. What the frick? I mean, hey, because it's under federal law. That's state though. Federal is still federal. It's still a narcotic. It's still legal under federal law. It's legal in some states. It's not legal in all 50. You work for a federal agency. Boom. There you go. I don't think you're paranoid. I think that's just kind of how it is, man. I feel that this is a bloated government engineering contract with little prowess from the past, but you have new companies with almost no experience getting it right. Building a human-rated spacecraft and building a low Earth orbit access vehicle are not even close to the same level of difficulty. Human-rated spacecraft is way more complicated. Way more complicated. Look how long it took Dragon to fly people as opposed to how long Falcon 9 has been flying. Not the same thing. Not even close. On a serious note, what is IFA? You mentioned it last night. IFA. In-flight abort? I don't know. Did I tell you about my new job interview on the 28th? I think you did, Bio, but I forget what it was, dude, because I was doing something on stream. I forget. And, like, Jeep Guy, I would agree with you. I would agree with you, but also at the same time, Boeing is on firm fixed pricing for commercial crew, and they footed the orbital flight test 2 on their own dime. So, you know, it feeds into a larger thing where, long story short, man, I'm not trying to dump on you or anybody else, but I think the people that say, oh, Boeing's just milking the damn tax dollar, if they're milking the damn tax dollar, why the heck would they foot a $400 million bill to test the capsule? Like, come on, man. Come on. Oh, wow, Bio. Jeez. Did you watch the Chinese launch today? I haven't gotten to that, Duel. Oh, it's a whole dang thing for some reason. Well, that's cool. Was it streamed? Anyway, you know, like, if Boeing had asked NASA, oh, we need $400 million more to do this test flight that we failed, I would be like, it's a little sus. But because of firm fixed pricing, they said, you know, we're going to foot the bill ourselves. So I think it's perfectly fine to fault Boeing in terms of late funding and other programmatic issues. However, I do not think it's fair to criticize Boeing as a can't do. Look at these other companies. Yeah, Rocket Guy, I'm pretty much with you on that one. More explanation on the crew swap. NASA wants astronauts to get experience. Nicole Mann and Josh Casada are the only astronauts not flown from the 2013 class, and they're the Artemis astronauts. Makes sense. So, yeah, I mean, stuff's difficult, guys, and you know, like I said, my gut's I'm gonna turn the AC on. My gut's telling me to be like, oh, this is so stupid, what's taking so long? But that's not, dude, trust me, that's a very bad take. That's a very bad way to look at it. This is funding for spaceflight that otherwise would not be there. It's not like if, you know, Starliner wasn't awarded a contract that SpaceX would get that money. That's how it works in merry-go-round land, all right? That's fantasy world, okay? That's not how this works. This is more money that's going into the space sector. And, I mean, honestly, in an ideal scenario, I would like that money to produce results, obviously. But then again, Boeing does agree with me, and that's why they're willing to fund this own test flight on their own dime because, you know, future missions, right? What's taking so long? They're not thinking fourth dimensionally. So I think it's very important to be patient, although it is kind of getting to be like, it's kind of getting to a point where you're like, guys, this thing was, how long ago was this thing supposed to fly? But the opposite side of that is that, you know what, a 6-month delay in terms of 6-month delay in the grand scale of things is not that big of a deal. A 6-year delay is a much bigger deal. That's why people are so critical of SLS, and I don't blame them on that one. But 6 months is nothing. It's a minor thing. And the other thing to take into account here, guys, is the OFT2 is delayed as late as mid-2022. You know, this is just another thing that they found wrong with the capsule. It was still down here. And it wasn't during operational missions. So this is a good thing. This is a good thing. It's good that you found those problems down here and not when you're up in space and, you know, accidentally strand some people in space because the thrusters on the spacecraft don't work. Oh, nice. Bio, that's cool. That's right, Gratian. Yeah, you know, it's fine. I think it's perfectly okay to find problems right now with the spacecraft rather than finding problems with the sticky valves like when it's docked to the ISS. How crazy would it be? They launch Starliner, it docks to the ISS, you know, it stays up there for a certain amount of time, they go to undock it, they fire the thrusters, nothing happens. That would be a big problem. So, you know what? Find those problems down there, work out the kinks, and get it done. It sucks. But spaceflight isn't about instant gratification, guys. Sorry, it's not. This isn't a TikTok, you know what I mean? This isn't Twitter, this isn't social media, you know. That's how spaceflight works, man. How do I spin it to my boss that I really need an old Ford truck for IT work? Yeah, that's gonna be a hard sell. Say you have to move around servers and stuff, and a pickup bed is the only way to do it. I don't know. Imagine if the thrusters got stuck on and they flipped the ISS, how crazy that would be. Yeah, I know, Cerebral, right? Yeah, that would be strange. Could a Dragon dock to a Starliner as a rescue? Yeah, I would assume so, yes. Glad that's never happened. Yeah, right. They both have international docking system standards, so I would assume that one can dock with the other. That would be unheard of. So that leads into the next bit of news here, guys. The next bit of news is that Soyuz Ms-18, the Russians were doing some testing with the Soyuz capsule while it was up there, and its thrusters turned on and the station did this again. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure why you're doing that. Yeah. Coder, yeah. Mm-hmm. Not just Nauka. No, this is the capsule that's docked to Nauka. Or no. No. 17 is docked to Nauka. 18 is docked to Resved, I think. They should stop doing that, yeah. I'm not sure why that happened. Guys, here, let's go find Dimitri's, what did Dimitri say about it? He's showing off his office in Vostochny, which is kind of cool. It's kind of neat seeing the facilities, I guess. Nice office. Maybe he didn't say anything about it. What does this say? Nope, that's something else. That's the OneWeb stuff. There's Angara news, Soyuz news. No, he didn't say that it didn't happen. Alright, let's go to Roscosmos. Roscosmos talked about it. I know they did. Hey, that guy. Here we go. During the Soyuz Ms-18 engine testing, the station's orientation was impacted. As a result, the ISS orientation was temporarily changed. The station's orientation was swiftly recovered due to the actions of the ISS Russian Segment Chief Operating Control Group specialists. Scott. Due to the actions of the ISS Russian Segment Chief Operating Control Group Specialist. You mean they stopped their thing from doing the thing it shouldn't have been doing in the first place? Here's the telemetry plot of what happened. Oh dear. Oh, yeah. Okay. No, 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 no. Oh. Bro, what are you doing? Stop it. Yeah, I got my numbers wrong, Hell Hydra. The capsule, yeah, that's not good. These things are supposed to see the two Soyuz right there? This is what it's supposed to do. The ISS has a slight rotation imparted on it, basically, so it's always pitching down just a little bit, so it's always facing the bottom of the station. Bottom. It's relative. The ISS basically stays relative to the surface of the Earth. So Nauka is on the nadir side of the station, meaning that this is Nauka. This module should be facing towards the ground. This is how it should look. When it does something like that, yeah, that means the station's doing this relative to the ground, which is what that telemetry shows. Yeah, that's not. How long did that take? So 9:11 a.m. is when it starts to go. Yeah, it starts to go right at the 11 mark. So about 11 minutes. How bad is that for the gyros? The gyros clearly compensated, right? It compensated and brought it back in line. Yeah. It brought it back in line. Jeez. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's not ideal. What is this video from? I got you.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hazanku gifted a sub to cerebral malfunction. Thank you. You've seen this before? Yes, 11 times as a matter of fact. Has this accidental well, this seems to be a test. This seems to have been a test for whatever reason. Here, let's see what this says. Okay. Today is the last working day of Anna to leave Inishin at the Cosmonaut Training Center. The cosmonaut terminated his labor agreement with the CPC due to the fact that he plans to devote most of his time to scientific activities. Oh, alright. Well, that sucks. He retired. Ah, yes. Here is a train. The test was a success or a failure?
Discovery, go at throttle up.
See, I'm not entirely sure, fellas. Like, I'll be honest, there's not enough information here to know. That test, that could have been induced, that could have been on purpose. But then again, would Roscosmos say, oh yes, it was quickly corrected by teams on the ISS? Like, would they say that? I don't think so. But then again, what the heck were you testing on the cat? Like, why do you need to fire its thrusters? Why were we testing the thrusters? I'm confused. Hey, Ivo. 16-month resub. Welcome back, man. Once again, thanks for being cool about that thing. I appreciate it. It makes it a little bit easier for me, you know? Wait, when did this happen? A couple of days ago. Task failed successfully. Yeah, right? No, awesome. I think it was... Oh, yeah. What day is it? Was this yesterday or today? I don't know. It was very recent. Very recent. All right. What's Katya saying here? Oops. Roscosmos informed that during the testing of the Soyuz Ms-18 engines, the engines affected the orientation of the ISS. The orientation of the station was promptly restored. RAE Novosti, which is Russian news, basically, reports that the engines of the Ms-18 stopped working only when they had reached the limit on fuel consumption, according to the American Ground Control Center. I'm gonna go ahead and say whatever they were testing, it didn't go as planned. But then again, you don't know that for sure. It could have been on purpose. Was it for filming? Maybe, Bon. It's possible. A little bit on the unlikely side, but it's possible. It did something similar to Nauka, but you see a couple of differences between Nauka. Nauka thought it was undocked from the station when it was docked to the station because they didn't safe the thruster system, the thruster control system. There's something weird happened with the Kurs. Kurs is the Russians' automated docking system. Something bizarre happened upon docking of the capsule. Somebody forgot to flip a switch somewhere, the software malfunctioned or whatever. Nauka started firing its thrusters because it thought it was not attached to the ISS when it was. So that was not on purpose. That was a weird glitch or a problem with the code or whatever. This was induced, which is weird. They did it on purpose. They were like, okay, we're turning the engines on. Wait, the station's turning now? Huh? That's why this is strange to me. $10 hours for Lucy. Yep. Can they transfer fuel to MS-18 from the station? No, not at the port that it's docked to, Olimars. No, they can't. And I don't think Soyuz has refueling paraphernalia on it. I think that's only Progress capsules, but I could be wrong. Human error? I don't know. You see floating... That's where I'm getting confused. What were you testing? Like, who... Okay, dude, I know we're just a bunch of Kerbal players here, right? We're a bunch of Kerbal players, obviously. But if you have a space station in KSP and you shut the SAS off and then you turn RCS on and then hit the H button, what's gonna happen? Like, this is why that doesn't make sense to me, all right? You know good and well what's going to happen if you fire the thrusters on a capsule that's attached to the frigging space station. So I'll ask again. That's really where I'm getting confused. Something doesn't add up here. That's not right. Like, oh, we're going to fire the thrusters on this capsule. The space station's turning? Shocked Pikachu face. Like, how did you not know that was going to happen? What would you say you do here? It was a sticky valve. Ow. That sucks. Maybe they were trying to induce the same situation that caused Nauka to be weird. Yeah, Brima, like, that's what I'm saying. This had to have been on purpose. Like, I'm going to look through my emails. Oh, okay, Mac. Don't share anything with us from your internal emails, please. Do not do that, for the love of God. Why is the engine tested while it's still at the ISS? It's a nominal procedure. Does engine testing normally intact station position? They usually check only the engine controls without firing the engines, but this time some failure occurred. I don't know exactly why. That doesn't sound right either. Dude, that doesn't sound right at all. You don't just deliberately, like, dude. You don't test the engines, right? Unless somebody really royally screwed up badly. You don't test the engines, right? and be like, okay, we're going to do an engine test where the engines don't fire. Oh, they fired? Oh, geez. That's not how spacecraft design works. I'm not 100% familiar with how Soyuz's systems work, but I know the circumstances in which that capsule was designed. Okay? Meaning that it was made... Sergei Korolev designed that thing. There's no way that, you know, basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that the UX for the capsule, it should be plainly obvious when you have the thrusters armed. Like, it should be plainly obvious. Your thrusters are on. Like the big yellow button that shows up in Kerbal when you activate RCS. Big yellow light. Can't miss it. Like, somebody either royally screwed up or that Soyuz something is very wrong with that capsule, which is... I don't know, man. It's crazy that sort of incident happens after 20 years of ISS experience. That's what I mean, floating. That doesn't make sense. Like, what did they change? What have the Russians changed? They don't change things. They go with what they know. That's what they're really friggin' good at. That's why Soyuz was our only way to get to the ISS for freaking 10 years. Because you go with what you freaking know. You know what I mean? That's very, very peculiar. Banana, ¿cómo estás, amigo? Any reason to dump fuel? Well, no, Kumo. They were supposed to be running a closed-loop engine test. Basically, testing all the systems on the engines with the, like, doing everything but firing the engines. Like a wet dress rehearsal for testing the thrusters. From Katya, and I believe her when she says this, that's usually normal. They usually basically... You know how, like, if you have a car that's sitting for a while, you go outside and you start it and you let it run for a little bit to charge the battery just to make sure that the starter and the battery still work? And if you don't, that's what you should do with a car that's been sitting. Start it every once in a while. But once again, EJ used an excuse to talk about cars again. I know, but it's similar. It's closer than you think. It seemed like it was just a routine test, you know, like. But in the same way that, you know, you turn the, you know, like if you want a car's engine to start, you know what to do to start it. If you want to power a car on, you would know that you just turn the key. You don't turn the key all the way, right? Like, there's a huge difference between doing those things. Spacecraft do that same thing. Like, I'm not going to say that it's idiot-proof because someone in chat's going to be like, well, life will just make a better idiot. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about spaceflight, right? I know for a fact that Soyuz has some kind of system to let you know if the thrusters are on, especially if you're doing testing on them. There's got to be something. There's an alarm. There's a indicator. There's a light somewhere. So either A, somebody ignored that, or B, that capsule has something wrong with it. Like, the flight controllers wouldn't make a mistake like that. Which is strange. That's very weird. But hey, everything seems to be okay now. But it is a little bit... What? Oops, light, yeah. Could some kind of pressure leak has caused this kind of rotation? No. Jacob, if there is, then... Jacob, let's put it to you... Let me put it to you like this. This happened... What? Yesterday evening? If there was something wrong with the capsule, they would have figured out that there's something very wrong with the capsule, and they would have gotten it away from the space station by now, if it was like an oh crap scenario. Because if there's something wrong with the capsule, and it's a really, truly, like, frick scenario, they would jettison the capsule. Just, bye-bye. Oh, great. So you strand people on the ISS. Would you rather them try to get in it? You know? So the fact that nothing came up after this, it tells me that it was just seems to be some kind of glitch, or somebody went, oh crap, the thrusters are actually on. Shut that off. Let's see. Who is this guy? Let me see. Let's see. When I was sleeping, the space station made an attitude maneuver I've never seen before. It sure looks like the solar panels, SARJ, were not parked until the maneuver was mostly over. Wonder what it was for. To protect the solar arrays from inadvertent thruster firings. Oh, sorry, I should have worded that differently. I realize why SARJ are usually parked. I noticed from the telemetry that they were not parked before this attitude maneuver happened. Now I know it was a loss of attitude control that makes sense. Must have been another interesting shift. Cool. Okay. I just want to make sure I understand who I'm talking to. Okay. I'm so curious to see if this issue was something related to the past Nauka problem. And then Todd, once again, who is a flight controller. I won't get ahead of any public releases on cause, but expect the Soyuz undock to still occur. Of course, our Russian colleagues will make the final decision. Okay, which brings me to my next question now. When is MS-18 scheduled to undock? Saturday. On the 17th. Okay, so fellas, because nothing has happened since these events, which were like 12 hours ago, give or take, because nothing has happened, and from what Todd is saying there, it seems like the docking is scheduled to go ahead as planned, which is a good thing. That's a very good indicator that everything's fine. If the Russians don't undock that capsule on time, then you should be like, did I see this tweet? That's the tweet that we're looking at right now, Mac. Rocket Guy, what did you say? Capsule must have been working fine. Rocket Guy, I'm going to go ahead and say that if the Russians decide to undock that capsule on time, somebody literally forgot to turn the engines off. If it was an engineering problem, you know good and well. If there was an engineering problem with it, or it was a glitch or something, they would have to conduct a fault tree analysis, figure out why the capsule was put into this failure mode, and come up with a solution. They're not going to do that in 3 days. Don't worry about it, Mac. It's fine. Yeah, no, that's the one we're discussing. That's what we're talking about. Rocket Guy, what say you? Am I on the money there? You'd have to figure out why the capsule did that. Happy Friday. Hey, Mick. This is generally how spaceflight works. If the spaceship is up there and it does something that you don't want it to do, you go into Apollo 13 mode. This doesn't matter if it's Russia, China, us. It doesn't matter. The Europeans, it doesn't matter. This is how everybody does this. You got to figure out. If it does something you didn't, the spaceship does something you didn't want it to do, you got to figure out why it did that, what caused it, and how you can fix it. All right? You have to figure that out. That takes time. It takes time to review the data and figure out what the failure mode was and why it occurred, and how you're going to remedy the problem, right? That wouldn't take 3 days. I'll tell you that right now. What would take 3 days is, okay, we're testing engines now. You forgot to shut the engines off. Oh, crap. That kind of makes sense. However, I get it. In America, it's easy to dump on the Russians, right? The Russians are smarter than that. They're look, guys, you can have problems with them, their country, their space program is pretty friggin' good. So much so that NASA relied on it to get to the ISS for a decade. Do you think we'd trust people with our astronauts if we didn't think they knew what they were doing? There's not a chance in hell. No way. We wouldn't do that. You got to give them the benefit of the doubt, man. When it comes to the ISS project, the Russians are on our team. We're on the same team here. So you got to give them the benefit of the doubt there.
Yo.
Oh, hey, you leaving?
Yeah, I'm going.
All right, have fun.
Thanks. Bye, chat. Love you.
Love you too. Primo's going out with friends. Buy me a hamburger.
I will.
Nice, that actually worked. I didn't think that was going to work. Freaking score. Chat says have a good time. Nope, she's gone. It's that easy? Metron, I didn't think that would work. Could have said please. I didn't think it would work. Now I feel bad. What are friends? It's me. I'm here with you guys the whole time. Even when we were on Route 154, it was just with viewers the entire time. No, everybody that helped me out on 154 I would consider a very good friend. Text her and say thanks and stuff. You know what, Donald? That's a really good idea. Brimo. Chat is telling me to tell you thanks for the hamburger that you'll get me on your way home. Love you. You know what I like doing sometimes? You know how like on the iPhone there's like the words that you can press, right? Like right here above the keyboard. What I like doing is, I just start hitting the words and I just start hitting it over and over again and see what it says. So, okay. Okay, let's see what we spelled. So there's the part, Chad is telling me to tell you thanks for the hamburger that you'll get me on your way home. Love you. This is the part where I started hitting buttons. Yeah, man, I'm not going back, lol. I just walked back to work and went to the Pat's house, lol. I got back in about the first truck and I got the message and went to bed, so I'm gonna wake him, lol. Alright, cool. Perfect. You think I didn't send that? Oh, I sent that. My last on my thoughts. Okay, Rocket Guy. Yep. Friends, error. Alright, Rocket, what do we got? I think undocks means the capsule is fine or the systems involved will not come into play. So yeah, human error or some other control aspect set for the test, like the countdown time for the burn failed, but it's not critical for return. Yeah, if they weren't gonna unplug the capsule from the station in a couple of days, Rocket Guy, I would say, yeah, whatever it is circumstantial. It's not a big deal. Ew, Brimo has an Android. No, she doesn't. I don't know why that text chromed out. I watched you type that on stream. No problem. I said I'd get you one earlier. EJSAH. But if you want to go with me, then you will need a copy. Thanks for your help with the interest in our company and the certification team for our team to be provided the most extensive information for our clients. Absolutely, Forlorn, no problem. Forlorn, I do that to my mother all the time. She's like, "Are you coming over for dinner?" I'll be like, "Yes, I am coming over for dinner, and yes, lol, I'm gonna go back to bed and just the bed, lol, lol, poo emoji, poo emoji, poo emoji, toilet, lol, and I'm just gonna go lol, do the store, and I'm just gonna lol, send." Yeah. What? It's funny. Freaking hilarious. Probably not so funny on the receiving end, but you'd mean a way of help for you and your dad are doing. Appreciate it, lol. Taradra, what do you mean about your life and how much I appreciate it? I will send you the link to my application tomorrow morning, as I have to get a new one, and I will send you the link. Wisp, yours actually made sense. Holy hell, B-52 is here in Orlando. Oh my gosh, they're huge. Goalie, that... You know... Orlando International was McCoy Air Force Base at one point, right? There's always been a B-52 there. Houston, thank you for the raid. Goalie, you talking about this guy? Yeah, that's been there for a long time, dude. The big, ugly, fat fella, Jam. Forks is also acceptable, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Not that one. There's another one. That's cool. You made me do this for a few days, and now I'm on the moon. And moon. Now I'm proud of you and all the other planets and moon. Oh, man, it's great. Moon! Moon! And it's been there longer than the airport. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, goalie, they're pretty big. There's an air show. Oh, wicked. Yeah, see, this wasn't always just a storage area for planes. This is the you see this? You see this building right here? So this is Orlando International Airport. I figure while we're here, I'll talk about it. This is OIA. OIA was formerly McCoy Air Force Base. And this thing is labeled as U.S. Army Reserve, but this was part of the Strategic Air Command, right? This building, if you look at it, just looks like any other ordinary building, but then you start to notice things. So one thing, first and foremost, there's a bunch of Humvees parked outside. But that wasn't always like that. The other thing that you start to notice if you look at this building is that there's a bunch of ramps coming in from either side. There's a bunker under here. Yeah, a bunker. You know what the bunker's designed to do? Withstand a nuclear blast. Yeah. So, if the Cold War had gone hot, okay, and there's a reason why McCoy Air Force Base is in Orlando, because there's something that's kind of a little ways south that, you know, Cold War, something, Cold War. If the Cold War had gone hot, that's basically where the pilots for B-52s would be sitting. There would be 8 of them. There would have been 8 of them out on the active ramp right here. And they would have been fully fueled and basically ready to go. All the pilots have to do is get in it and flip the on button, and then you're good. Nuclear armed. That's how they used to do things. And they would come out of the bunker that's right here, run to their planes, and then whoop, right immediately out onto the runway. You could see that this went to both runways. So you could send 4 down that runway and 4 down that runway. And get your bombers in the air as quick as possible. That's why that B-52 is up here at the front of Orlando International. So Tori Bruno is part of the Illuminati. What? Hey Tori, can you show me the picture of the ring you're wearing? What? So yeah, a little fun fact on McCoy Air Force Base there. What is this? It's a Templar ring. Whoa. Are a group of self-styled chivalric orders of common descent. In 2020, as a religious confirmity of knights. Are often simply referred to as the... Whoa. They make a moral and ethical claim to follow in the same spiritual path as the original order, which and operate as a charity and an order of chivalry. Neat. Okay. Not entirely sure what all that meant, but that's cool. You can get one of those rings if you want. So yeah, Master Irv, that's exactly what I was thinking. So is, like, Tori Bruno gonna, like, if I ever meet him, is he gonna offer me the cup of a carpenter or something? Like, all you have to do is choose which rocket to fly on. The rocket of Tori Bruno. I want to choose that one. Oh, he chose poorly. You have chosen wisely. The penitent man, the penitent man, the penitent man. The penitent man kneels before the rocket. In Latin, but wait, in Latin, Jehovah begins with an I. All right, in Latin, Jehovah begins with an I. Cool. It's one hell of a stone. So, wait a minute. Hold on. I got another joke. Wait a minute, I got another one. If Tori Bruno is a Templar knight, right? If he's a Templar knight and he has a cowboy hat and likes riding horses, does that mean that Tori Bruno is Indiana Jones? Oh, nice, Slight. No whip. Not true. Not true. Tori Bruno he's posted pictures on his Twitter of him riding around on a horse, and he definitely has a whip. Holy crap, Tori Bruno's Indiana Jones. I gotta find the picture now. Thomas, we gotta find the picture. This is important. This is for science, okay? I don't think he's that one, Reveril. I mean, that pic. Look, see that. See what I'm talking about? I mean, keep him away from the fridge. He did work on nuclear delivery systems. No, Mr. Bond. So, see, found it. See? He's Indiana Jones. Okay. Yep. Tory Bruno's Indiana Jones. Yep. Tory Bruno infographic. Yes. Yes. Yeah, see? See? This man is Indiana Jones in real life. I'm pretty sure. I'm about to ask him, like, dude, you don't go, like, hunting for, like, biblical relics in your spare time by any chance, do you? Like... See? Spurs. Silver, inlaid, rowelled, attitude control and thrust vector and gimbal actuators. Go jingle, jangle, jingle. Goalie, I'm not sure that holds water too much, but yeah. How does he feel about Sneck? I mean, I wouldn't step on it, Vex, if that's what you're asking. I don't know. Maybe ask him. Maybe ask him. There's a snake in his boot. There's a snake in my boot. Somebody's poisoned the water hole. You guys remember that Family Guy joke where Peter Griffin says he's a cowboy astronaut millionaire? I mean, Tory Bruno's almost that. He's pretty close. He's not an astronaut, but cowboy engineer millionaire. That's pretty good. Yeah, Tiggs, go ahead. Just got to get perms from the mods. Any mods around? If not, I'll take care of it. I got you, man. Post away, my guy. I got you, Reigns. I got you, boy. Designed for the airport. Let me take a look. Sorry, a little bit of a side thing here.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Yeah, this is fine. We should put a cargo terminal over here. Eventually. Build one small terminal and then go with the second one over there. Yeah, this is good. This is good. This is very good. Yeah, you're totally good. Airstrike approved. I mean, yeah, no, yeah, build that. Go ahead. God, gifted us up to Tig. Well, now you don't have to worry about it. Why is the exhaust color like this? Why is the exhaust color like this? This is a test. This is a test stand, Forge. That's why. See, it says Marshall Space Flight Center up there. This was a test. This was a testing regime to evaluate the RD-180 in the late 90s in preparation for the Atlas III. This was the hot fire RD-180 test. They were probably doing something with it where they pushed it to failure. That's why the flames are all green. I missed one MC stream and you decide to build a freaking airport. Yeah. Yeah. burning something it probably shouldn't. Yeah, they probably pushed it to failure here on purpose. It's burning something on the inside, and I'm going to guess that that's probably copper. If I had to throw my hat into the ring. Anyway, this is coming from Sci News, the YouTube channel Sci News, who does like small cuts of rocket launches. This morning on a Long March 2F, the Chinese launched the Shenzhou 13 mission, and usually I wouldn't really cover it, but I guess they did stream it. This is a crewed mission up to China's space station here, so yeah, let's see how that went. Zhai Zhigang, Wang Yaping, Yi Guangfu. There was a live stream. Neat. The docking is happening anytime now. Yeah. All right. Oh, look. Their audio is trash, too. Cool.
10、9、8、7、6、5、4、3、2、1，点火。
Whoa. The stuff coming off the rocket is normal. Long March 2 is an older rocket.
23分56秒，469毫秒。9圈程序转弯。程序转弯。9圈光学跟踪正常。
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
轻声 USB 雷达跟踪正常，遥测线。双程光学雷达跟踪正常。
Did this thing make it? It made it into space, right?
正常，东风飞行正常。
Dude, I saw some weird things there, and maybe it's just my inexperience with Chinese vehicles. I saw a couple of strange things going on there. Aside from all the panels that fall off, that's normal. I know that's normal. There's LES jettison.
9圈逃逸塔分离，逃逸塔分离。
Okay, third stage separation confirmed. There we go. Yeah, that looked right.
9圈助推器分离，助推器分离。9圈1、2级分离，1、2级分离。
Wait a minute. Somebody that knows a little bit more about this than me, does the Long March 3 core stage and boosters flame out at the same time? How is that possible? They are editing this. Yep. Ah. Okay. What is China's space program goals? I'm not 100% sure on that one, Mab. I think it's... honestly, I think it's to show people that they can. That has a lot to do with it. A matter of national pride. I can understand that as an American. I get that. That makes sense. Why did the boosters detach then? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, upper stage is looking good there. Capsule fairing, separation, yep, that looked right.
9圈抛整流罩。
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
双程
Sounds like Calgon.
抛整流罩。
How many people are going to get that reference nowadays, Snickers? Okay. Taikonauts flipping through the checklist there. Oh, they're showing the downlink. That's kind of neat. Capsule separation. Looking good. Upper stage venting. Okay. Next thing should be a solar panel deploy. A zoom in on the engine bay.
天路1号04星发现目标。
华山推轨根数及分点参数发出，景山。
Solar panel deploy is good.
景山收到。东风。东风收到。
Full lift off of the engine shot.
展
me
开
see.
正常。
So good. I'm glad they got up into space okay. I wouldn't wish failure with crew launches on anybody. That's not a good idea. That's just bad juju. How long have they had this functioning rocket for? Long March 2? Long time. Know some Chinese? Not really. Did they? Wait, they... The camera broke. Did they... Wait, is this literally just a camera on the launch pad pointed at the engines? Okay, that's SpaceX did the same for SN8, remember? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's an ablative camera. No, like how like like how the Americans do it is they have a camera that's looking at a mirror that's at a 45-degree angle, and then that mirror is shining off another mirror at another 45-degree angle, and that mirror is reflecting like a pad shot. NASA does that so they don't fry a camera, because the cameras are expensive, but I mean, I'll be real. This clearly isn't an engineering camera. It's there to get the cool shot. Because if it was an engineering camera, they would care that it, you know, destroys itself. That's a little strange, Forge. Let me see here. Hypergol. Yeah. I mean, everything looked good here. I saw something weird when in the other footage. Everything looks fine here. That all looks correct. Perfect. That that's really nice. Really good plume. See this? The slight curve right there, and then the curve back in. That's a real nice and healthy rocket engine right there. There is this right here. I think that's just some UDMH that got stuck up in here. But the flames look pretty damn consistent. That looks really nice. Look at that. Perfect shock cone. Very good. Yeah, looks really good. Yeah, because the flames... Oh, hey. Now, that engine was designed in the 60s. Yeah, it's Hypergol. It's... I think it's proton derived. It's kind of like the RD, what is it? RD-120s, I think is what they're called, but I could be wrong. I mean, it could be in-house. I'm not sure. I don't know too much about this, guys. I'm not even kidding. And I don't know that much Mandarin either. So, I saw something a little strange here, and you guys tell me if this is normal, because I don't know here. So watch right here. There's that shot. Everything looks good there. Yeah, see? Look. See all the sparks coming out of the flame trench? I mean, it's occurring on both sides, but is that normal for this rocket? I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and say yes, but either way, it's strange to have sparks coming out of your flame trench no matter what the rocket. Chunks of concrete from the trench? Could be that. That happens when Proton launches, so maybe it's normal. It's the one-use cameras. Yeah? Yeah, it's a YF-20. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, Joe, that sounds right. If it's happening on both sides, then yeah, yeah, that's probably. Yeah, this could be pieces of the flame trench. Chunks of concrete that are getting superheated by the rocket engines. Yeah, it could be a bunch of different things. I mean, I doubt that would spark, Joe, but alright. Yeah, other than that, everything else looked good here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that seems alright. Let me take a look here. Blade of GSE, great idea. More rockets, you do that than you think, cavemen. It's funny, the pieces that are coming off, which is intended, right? These things, it's funny when one of them wanders into the flame, the exhaust from the rocket. Watch. Watch. Just see ya. So the next thing that I noticed is up here when the rocket does a pitch over. I mean, you got that cool shot, but look, you're getting. Watch this next shot right here. There's a little bit of a slew off the pad. I mean, it looks okay, but it looks like the rocket's kind of doing that. Interesting. Full launch video? Oh, okay. Let's take a look. What are the bits falling off and why is it normal? It's a protective cover. It's just a protective cover to prevent foreign object debris. Docking already occurred. Got it. Oh, dude, this is a trip, man. Chinese television, Chinese state television, the English-speaking station, the news anchors have no accent. They sound like this. It's kind of a trip, dude.
20 seconds away. I'm leaving my favorite part of the countdown to you, Chu-Yuan. You want to do the honor?
Sure.
10-second countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7,
that's peculiar.
6, 5, 4. Together. 3,
2,
1.
Ignition.
Is Yang Yang there? That guy's cool. I like that guy.
You see some white boards falling off. Is that considered normal? That's
Yes.
protection
That keeps the temperature.
Shield, right?
Yeah. Power is clear.
All right, we're going to see a number of critical stages throughout the flight. We're going to be walking you through each and every one of them, starting with the pitch over.
That's the moonshot.
Spectacular
Very
shot.
soon.
Yes.
So this is
See
the
the slew
camera
off the
mounted on
pad?
Terra rocket.
View of the side boosters. If everything goes right momentarily, we're going to see the jettison of the escape tower, right?
No,
Yeah.
yes.
About 120 seconds.
So that's the first critical.
But they're
movement we're
not,
gonna
John.
see.
That's what's
This is the
crazy.
infrared view of the rocket. Everything is going well.
The Taikonauts look fine to me.
Yeah, they look real fine to me too, man.
How many G-forces are they enduring?
I mean,
That's
the
dude, that's
maximum
weird.
is, during the
I'm
separation
sorry,
of the
that's
first
funny
stage,
to me.
About 3 to 5 G.
Right.
You have
This
the
tends to be
professor.
period
That's the guy
where
that
they
has
can
the
experience discomfort.
the
during
accent.
The flight.
And
As you mentioned,
sorry,
the
it's funny to me.
G-forces are together with
Not for
the
any
vibration.
particular reason. I'm not trying to prove any particular point. It's just
The movement
strange.
what we call a pogo, which is up and down movement. You know, faster.
like when we watch like the Europeans, right? The Europeans for the Canes program all talk like this. They are all very, very clearly English is not their first language. They are all speaking very much like this. It would be peculiar to me if like Stefan Israel came on the ESA stream and was like, "Yes, we are going to launch the rocket today." I'd be like, "Huh? What?"
faster and slow, like up and down. So that pogo is very uncomfortable.
Yeah, that is because we use the liquid propellant system.
Right. We're about 90 seconds.
You've not heard Russian American news? Also zero accent. What? Really? On Russian TV? Give me an example. I want to hear that now.
Into the flight.
Okay.
Once again, you're seeing the bright flame of the side boosters.
Picking up
First
speed.
stage
It's
rocket.
Die Hard 3,
So the
caveman.
emergency escape tower will be adjusted soon.
Yeah. It has already completed the pitch over, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about
12
Russia
seconds
Today.
up, yeah.
Yeah, but this isn't Russia Today, Reveril. This would be like Novosti having people that talk like me on there. That's just
Stop.
like I get it. I know what you're trying to do. It's just
Escape tower, and then the
weird.
strap-on booster.
Oh, that's the 3D animation of this flight. That's based on real to
compare it to the Shenzhou 12 sway. Shenzhou 12 looked okay. Yeah, that looks fine. I guess it must be normal. I mean, they made it, so.
Okay,
there
great.
you go.
There you go.
That's the escape tower.
Escape tower.
Speak
Jettison.
freaking better English
At
than I
about
do.
153 seconds will be the separation of the 4 strap-on boosters.
Yes. And that separation we just saw there really indicates a successful initial lower
Check out
level
English
flight.
Language international
doing
channels
okay.
such as NHK World and
Not
France
until
24.
the first separation of first stage. We see this one will be happening anytime.
Right. I think it's happening now.
Separate soon.
Yeah, Jack, I gotcha.
The boosters will come off momentarily.
Of course, this is the most dangerous
Great.
part, right, of the launch. Okay.
Boosters are off.
Booster separation.
There's
And
the
then
core stage
first
set.
stage separation.
And then the first stage separation.
You see
we
the
can
4
yeah.
light part. That's the strap-on booster.
Yes.
The
and
first stage is
5
already
bright
separated.
dots
Yeah.
over there. The 4 little dots are the boosters.
Excited for the
one
Lucy
bigger
launch?
dots are the first stage rockets.
With
So
each
That'd be
about
pretty good, man.
210 seconds will be the separation of the payload, jettisoning
That
of
guy?
the payload fairings.
That guy knows what he's talking about. When we watched the Long March 5 launch, when they launched the space station, he commentated the launch. I know that guy knows what he's doing. He knows rockets. The one with a very, very thick accent.
Because the altitude is already very high.
That guy.
So at this moment, the aerodynamic forces is already become weaker and weaker because the max Q has already been passed.
See?
I believe you're getting a visual of the second stage and
Yeah, they did cut him
This
off,
is-
Thomas.
this is-
They cut him off when he was
Yeah,
talking
the
about
second
Long March
phase has
5's
the main
plans.
engine with a
Or the
thrust
space
about
station plans.
70
They
pounds
cut
and
the
4
feed.
vernier engines to control its attitude.
On left side, you can see it's folded solar panel. So the fairing has been separated.
Successful
So
deployment
this
of
is
Forge, who was the dude, the professor that got taken off of the stream for speaking about the U.S.? That guy. Yeah. When the Long March 5 launched the space station that these guys are going to, that guy, he's a professor. He's a professor at one of China's state-run universities or something. He started talking about future international cooperations and stuff and, wanting to go to space together, and they cut the feed. He was like, oh, we do plan on doing things in the future. They were like, no. Yeah, they cut the feed. And then they went back to the announcers who were like, oh, yes, and we're back here for the rocket launch. It was, yeah.
the folded solar array that is going to be deployed. So that's a camera feed looking at the solar array itself.
Yes, and that's
Cool.
the-
All right. Well, hey, we've seen that. We've seen everything we need to see. Good launch. Good for them. I'm glad the 3 Taikonauts got up to the station intact. I'm glad the mission's going good. Good for them. Seriously, don't be like, oh, I hope they crash. That's not good juju. Don't do that. You wouldn't wish that on anybody. Have you got this? Let me see. What's the next one? This is okay. So let's go on to Starship news. I usually try to do Starship news on the tail end here. Something like that crash. Yeah, I don't generally cover Chinese launches like that. The reason why I don't do it is, 1, they don't really stream it that much. 2, the ones that they do stream are the high-profile stuff. But also, the stages from the Long March 2F are on a ballistic trajectory, and they come down in populated areas, which, yeah, I'm not too fond of that. Starship did a test on the pneumatic systems yesterday, Tactical, from what I understand. But here, let's start off with this for Starship news. Space should be about how we unite the planet, not to continue to be separated. I like that they're doing missions. Dude, I'm happy for them doing their own thing, spaceflight. I mean that honestly. I mean that honestly and sincerely. Good for them. Maybe it'll help us pull our head out of our culo over here. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm glad. I'm glad someone's doing it. I'm glad someone else is doing it. Somebody else has space as a priority, no matter what the reason is, you know. Peaceful exploration of space, I might add. You know, that's a good thing, man. That's not a bad thing. Hey, Dave. What's going on? You gotta stop dropping those damn stages on people, dudes. You gotta stop that crap. Gotta stop doing that, man. I want to like your friggin'. I want to like your space program. It's like, it's the same kind of thing with people like, you know, folks with Blue Origin. Some people really don't like Blue Origin, but they want to. But they're like, stop trying to sue NASA, please. Like, it's that kind of thing. Like, dude, I don't. Rockets that go up, come back down, and land on people. That's not a rocket. That's a missile. That's different. Not the same. And that's why I'm not too big of a fan. You know, there's a new road closure for Monday morning to move some big stuff. I got a feeling this window is to move the cryo shells. Got it. Isn't it American legislation that prevents China from cooperating internationally with the ISS? Yeah, Marmot, but there's a very good reason for that. And this basically comes up every time. We'll get to Starship news in a second. Marmot, the U.S. didn't decide to just not work with China out of some crazy xenophobia or whatever. Look up Intelsat 708. Intelsat 708 was the U.S. basically extending an olive branch to the Chinese in the 90s. What we did was we looked into buying Chinese launches to launch our satellites. Okay, just to see. Just to, you know, it kind of tested it for a little bit. So we went over there and we upgraded the Long March rocket to be able to interface with our satellite guidance systems with an Intelsat satellite. American and Chinese crews worked together for a long time to get that Intelsat 708 launch ready to go. Okay? And when it went to launch, the rocket, which was off of that same launch pad that I don't know if it was exactly the same launch pad. It might have been. The rocket went to launch and did this. It went up, something went wrong, it turned, and it landed in a village and killed thousands of people. Right after that happened, the Chinese military came in, rounded up everyone, every American that was working on that project, like an hour after the rocket crashed, put them in a bus with blacked out windows, and deported all of them immediately. They didn't even have time to pack their stuff. And no, that's not hyperbole, that's not exaggeration, that's what happened. There's a reason the Wolf Amendment exists. We went to ask, like, when there were inquiries, hey, what happened to Intelsat? Well, you don't know. We don't know what you're talking about. Yes, thousands. There was some video from somebody who put a camera underneath the thing. It's not pretty, man. So, not the same pad. Okay, so yeah, it's Zisheng, not Jiuguan. Yeah, got it. So something weird went down there. I don't know what it was. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the rocket launch failed on purpose or if it was just a bad day or if the Chinese didn't want people seeing that the rocket landed in a village or whatever. I don't know. Something fishy happened there for sure. Like, there's plenty of documentaries about Intelsat 708. And then, you know, the next Long March that launched just happened to do a super precise insertion for a Chinese-made satellite, meaning that They kept all the guidance systems, all the upgrades to their guidance systems that we gave them to help pinpoint place our satellite. They just kept using. That's not fishy at all, huh? See what I'm talking about? There's a reason why that there's a law. And once again, I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm not trying to say this. I'm not trying to talk bad about their space program. Something weird went down there, and it left a sour taste in Rule 8 people in the U.S.'s mouth. I don't know whether you think that's legit or not. I don't know. I don't freaking know. I have no idea. But once again, Marmot. It's important to understand why we don't work with the Chinese on things. We tried to do that already. It didn't end well, for better or for worse. I'd say for worse at this point, but whatever. And once again, I ain't trying to talk bad about China or anything like that. Stop. If I'm going to, I think the valid criticism is stop dropping stages on people. What are you doing? That's bad for spaceflight. But also, I don't know. I'm not trying to piss in anybody's cornflakes here, Yeah, CN, it sucks that a business deal went sour like that. Yeah, I mean, and then fast forward, that was in like 1997. Fast forward 10 years, China's like, hey, can we be a part of the ISS? And basically, long story short, the U.S. said, are you going to tell us what happened with Intelsat? And they said, no. And we're fine. No, you cannot. And China said, all right, fine. Piss off. I'll do it myself. And that's what they've been doing. I'm sure people have different opinions on this subject, and that's totally fine. I'm not trying to argue one way or the other. I mean, there's the whole stage dropping on people thing. Don't do that. But yeah, once again, it's important to understand why that's the way. Understand the context, right? Now, dude, you always keep it real. Like, Marmot, you think I enjoy talking bad about somebody else's space program? That's stupid. One of the best ways for us to get further in space is competition. Friendly competition amongst rivals. That has gotten us further in space than any single thing in the past. I don't like talking bad. I don't talk bad about the Russians. I try not to talk bad about the Chinese space program, except, a couple of things here and there. Otherwise, they're making pretty awesome strides, man. There's not many countries that can say they've launched people into space and have their own space station. Not even we can say that right now. Have their own station with no help. That's a pretty awesome thing to do. Good for them. We got to do Starship stuff, Doom, and then we're sending the big SSTO. Yep. America pulled the same sort of shady stuff in World War II with the UK. High-level politics can really screw over the progress of everything. Yeah, Demon. TSR2. That's post World War II. TSR2. The hell, man? What the hell happened there? No, Pop Bear. We had Skylab, which counted. Yep. The Russians had their own national space station. The Soviet Union did it before us. They had Salyut and the Almaz space station before we had Skylab by a good number of years. Yeah, floating disk. There you go. Yeah, there were several before Skylab. That's right. That's an important thing to know. Yeah, it sucks when that kind of stuff happens, but hey, you live by the sword and die by the sword. That stupid kind of lack of progress has also paved the way for insane amounts of progress in the past, dude. Like the Apollo program, or the shuttle, or Buran, or the N1, or what else would come from that? Proton, Soyuz, Saturn 1B, like. Question is, why did we deorbit these in favor of a larger station? We didn't deorbit Skylab. Earth did. Firework. We, after 1975 or 1974, the Apollo program basically, or Skylab basically stopped, and the Apollo program basically terminated in 1975 after the Apollo-Soyuz test project. Yeah, the SB-1 Doom. So Skylab basically was unguided. Well, not unguided, but we were still monitoring it. It was powered, but it basically decayed. Its orbit decayed in 1979. There was NASA was preparing for a space shuttle mission an early shuttle mission to go and attach a booster module to Skylab using its docking port at the front, and then boosting Skylab to a higher orbit so the shuttle could have a space station to go to. The Skylab boost project was something, I'm not sure if they ever fabricated hardware for that, but it was something that was on the table for the shuttle. But the shuttle program got delayed, and Skylab deorbited. It's a decaying orbit. It's too low in the atmosphere. Part of it landed in Perth, near Perth, Australia, and Australia gave NASA a littering fine. NASA never paid it. Funny story. Oh, jeez, man. Sorry about that. It is loud. Yeah, that's Intelsat. Why does the shuttle need a space station? Shuttle is the space station. Sorry about blowing your eardrums out, guys. My bad. But it's loud. Yeah, Forge, I didn't think the whole video would be loud. I thought the noise would be loud. I'm awake. Whose kidneys are these? So, yeah, once again, it's important to understand why the U.S. and China don't work with each other. And it sucks. It's just basically what amounts to a business deal going sour. Sucks. We work together on a bunch of other things. It would be nice to work together with space, but yeah, there you go. Floating disk. Yeah, check this out. Like, you know, you want to give them benefit of the doubt, but this is a little strange. But once again, that could be clash of cultures. It could be a bunch of different things. Half of the crap, like, throughout the Cold War, you know, like, of the Soviets and the U.S. going back at each other, I'm, like, 100% convinced was just because Russian grammar and English is different. The Russians say things differently. Like, you know how Google Translate sometimes translates Soyuz carrier launch rocket nositelь Soyuz 1B. It's just Soyuz version 2.1b launch vehicle. Google Translate translates that to ballistic missile. I don't know why, but it does. I'm like wholly convinced that a lot of bullcrap that went down during the Cold War just got lost in translation. Pretty damn sure. Yeah, Demon. If that's the hustle, man. Yeah, and payload gets translated to warhead. Exactly, yeah, right. Soyuz equals R7. Well, Soyuz is the Russian word for union, Synerd, so unlikely. I don't really think a village disappearing under a mushroom cloud is a business deal gone wrong. Man, I agree with you. I'm with you on that one, but I gotta tell the story straight up, dude. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you what to think. I do agree with you on that one, but I find it important to tell the story straightforward. I'll just tell you how it went down. And you guys make your own damn opinions. I try not to weigh in on stuff like that, especially something like that. But yeah, dude, it certainly seems like, if I had to guess, Admana, if I had to guess, it seems like the rocket malfunctioned, but it was not on purpose. Don't attribute malice to incompetence, right? It wasn't on purpose, and because it landed on the village, the Chinese were probably embarrassed about that. And that's why they probably just said, nope, nothing happened here. I mean, it probably, like, my thing is if we were really worried about, you know, proliferation of, like, rocket guidance systems, why would we even work with them on Intelsat 708? Like, that's the weird part to me, if we're gonna play that game, you know what I mean? But clearly it wasn't a problem, because we agreed to do it, right? And, you know, the rocket malfunctioning just seems like, once again, don't attribute malice to incompetence, right? According to the article, they cut costs to be aggressively competitive and enter the launch market. As for Zhisheng, it was built so far south and inland to be out of reach of the USSR. Yeah. China built their ICBM launch sites on the Russian border and their ICBM testing facilities on the Russian border because of the Sino-Soviet split in 1960. Long story short, Mao Zedong and Nikita Khrushchev had different ideas, or the Soviet Union and China had different ideas about how to carry out Marxist ideology. Basically different flavors of communism. They had different ideas on how to do it, and yeah, they split in 1960. Jeez, John, hey, like, once again, that does fit in with Asian culture in a way. I mean, Seinert, that's most likely what happened. Governments don't want to admit that they're incompetent. What government, you know, like saying, hey, sorry guys, we screwed up. That doesn't sound like government to me, no matter what government it is, right? Like that's what I mean about the benefit of the doubt. But once again, you know, I just try to tell the story, and maybe, like, if this comes up, I don't really want to weigh in on anything. It's important, because I don't want people going around and say, oh, you just said that the Chinese sabotaged the rocket on purpose. Don't do that. Come to your own conclusion. Please, for the love of God, critically think for a second. Just for a split second. Then we can go back to Twitter, right? You know? I guess Hellfish, maybe. Van's like, I really don't want to, yeah. Yeah, dude, it's basically, Intelsat is very, very icky. And that's what I mean about clashing of cultures, Synerd, you know? Cool.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
I kind of want to go read this now. I'm gonna save this. I'll read this off stream. Hey, ArcSign, 19-month resub. Thank you. Yeah, maybe firework. Who knows? It was a hypergolic rocket. Yeah, Long March 3 is hypergolic. It was a Long March 3F, if I'm remembering correctly. Huh. So what's this from RGV? Real life Iron Man finds his suit. That's awesome. Hey, Blackness Everleen had a sub in there too. That was about a half hour ago. Proud to be here. Oh, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. That's really cool, yeah. Freaking, it's on big lawn chair made out of 2x4s. That's cool. What the frick? Okay. Yeah, I don't want to be on Twitter anymore. Let's go over here. Thanks. I hate it. Alright, let's see what we got. Finished up space news with the NSF footage. So the test that they did yesterday was some type of pneumatic test, I think, with some systems on board SN20. It could have been a static fire, but yeah, nobody actually knew for sure. So the testing, from what we understand, was successful, so I guess that's good. Not sure what they were testing or how or what, but whatever. Some pneumatic test or something. What would female Elon be? Ellen? What about Blue Origin's vids, though? Those are fairly short. You want me to check those out, dude? I mean, Vasi, I did a pretty big breakdown of those videos. The Space News after NS-18, the next day. I did a pretty big breakdown. Is there something in there that I missed, or what? Gimbal and an engine gyro. Gimbal and engine gyro test. Oh. I want to go back and see that. So this is a Starship aft dome. There's the mounts for the vacuum Raptor engines. Cool. That sounds like a diesel. One of them is the recap. All right, we can watch the recap, dude. Gotcha. It's funny that starships without any thermal protection system now look naked. Yeah, you're not wrong. Those are water pipes right there. Yeah, these cement pipes, water. No, it was a TVC or some type of pneumatic or hydraulic test, King, from what I understand. It was successful, whatever it was, but did it lose any tiles? No, not that I could tell. Will the thermal protection system tiles float? By themselves? Yeah, probably. Yeah, those modular girder segments for KSP2 look really good. I am Bender. Please insert girder. So you can see this is the foundation and the conduits for, I think this is for the new high bay here. Did they say? Sorry, I was reading a DM. High beams unloaded from a flatbed. Yeah, okay. Well, there's a SN2 behind them, so this is the build site. So that means this is the electrical, this is the wire harness for the high bay, that the big high bay that they're going to build here. What is your revived net for the first orbital flight test? First orbital flight test of what? Starship? Oh, for Starship. Sorry. I don't know if you're talking about like my SSTO or what, or Starship or Starliner or whatever. January, I'd guess. Yeah, January. Any idea when the next slot that's available to be open for Starliner? June of 2022. SpaceX could firework, yes. Okay, obvious follow-up to that. Do you think they'll be able to make the slot? It's too hard to tell, man. There's a lot of contingent stuff there. Is it just me, guys, or over the past couple of days have we not seen much work on these things since they installed them? I haven't seen like people going and working on this thing. I've seen people working on the pad though. They disconnected the 11,000 today. They don't need them for the first flight? Yeah, Rocket Man, you're right. But if that was the case, if they don't need them for the first flight, you think they're going to risk them being right next to the pad like that? Honest question. Waiting for the new linear bearing. Yeah, that makes the most sense, Cerebral. Yeah, entropy, yeah. Well, that feeds into what Cerebral says, yeah. Hey, G-Funk, what's up, man? Yeah, it could be that, Synerd, yeah. They started running the cable for it, for the pulleys. Yeah. What I think Cerebral said core makes the most sense. Tunnel! Oh yeah, there is a tunnel right there. Sick educational stream. Thanks, Pank. Appreciate it. I would actually like to remind you, Pank, you actually reminded me, this is not my footage. I have permission from NASA Spaceflight to look at their footage pretty much unabated here on my channel. Just make sure you go over there and support NASA Spaceflight. They allow me to do stuff like this. They're like, yeah, they're like, yeah, you can show the footage. They don't do that for everybody. So I do appreciate our buddies over at NASA Spaceflight, and make sure you go over there and support them. Maybe buy a t-shirt or something, I don't know. Excuse me, one hop. They loaded the Raptors that were removed from Booster 4 onto the Raptor van for transport to McGregor or Hawthorne. Interesting. NASA Spaceflight 4 EVA. I know you meant forever, I get it. Perlite sacks unloaded from a flatbed. Perlite is an insulating layer for between the cryoshell and GSE tank. Interesting. Going to have the Red Sox game on? Oh yeah. Oh, actually, wait. Hold on. Oh, 8 o'clock, okay. See if I can get the stream up. Oh, score, we can. Oh boy, A-Rod's talking. Here, allow me to ignore it. Oh, now Frank Thomas is talking. Yeah, I'll listen to Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas is cool. Big Hurt. Everybody liked that. That guy's universally hated fan. Even Yankees fans hate that guy. Dude, yeah, actually does. God, what are you doing, you dingus? Booster thrust plug spotted at the ground tracking site. Is it just me, or do the two satellite dishes remind you of that seagull meme? You know that meme of the seagull where it's like, ha! You know. At first I was like, but then, let's go Tampa. Ew, it's disgusting. Ha! Just goes to show you play good doesn't mean comment. Play good? Yeah, look at that. Look at that thing. Big Tex. Think I should get a gooseneck trailer like that for Tough Enough? Tough Enough could tow something like that. Probably with nothing on it, but it could tow something like that. Yoke plate? That's a big piece of equipment. There's something you're not telling us, Elon, or? That's fuel lines for the pad. Huh, we saw this yesterday. flatbed dually or pickup bed dually with a 5th wheel? Take your pick. Well, guess we know where the steel for the tank comes from. Nihon Steel. Made in Japan. Interesting. A gooseneck means cutting a hole in the new bed you have there. No. The scale is just wow, and to think the BE4 is larger. Sugoi. I mean, Rocket Guy, what I was showing people when we saw this yesterday is look at that gooseneck trailer. Look at how much it's bending down. And look at this dually. The dually, the truck looks pretty level, right? But then you realize that the truck with no load is raked, where the nose is down like this. So see how like forward that one is, the one in the back? This one is straight. That with the gooseneck bending down should tell you how much mass you have on there, i.e., yes. RVACs are very big, Rocket Man. I mean, look, there it is again. Look at how that gooseneck's sagging like this, and the truck is level. Could be on airbags. An F-350 on bags. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say no. What's the logo on the truck? I don't know. CLT? Hello. Yeah, dude, look at that thing. That thing's sagging like you would not believe. Those things are super heavy. Oh, hi, Raptor. Super heavy, huh? Well, you could see how much it's tilting in that picture. That shot's really good. Look at the back of that truck squatting, because it has a couple tons worth of rocket engine on the trailer. Man. That's a lot of dimp to be moving around there. Those rear tires are going through a lot. Yep. They don't even bother covering them. Can't be real about spaceflight if you're gonna be like, oh, we gotta put the rocket in an encapsulation. The weight balance is all wrong on that trailer. It's fine. Center of mass is well in front of the rear wheels. It's good enough. Now, if it was me, this rocket engine would be over here, but they might have to spread the load, because I'm pretty sure if this engine was over here, that suspension would be bottoming out. I'm pretty sure that's why they are where they are, because I agree. The center of mass of your payload, which is pretty much right at that 72, right here, because there's 3 of them and they're all the same, right? The center of mass of your payload is right here. You want the center of mass of your payload whenever you're towing to be as far from your rear wheels, as far forward from your rear wheels as possible. Ideally up here somewhere. Trailer's more stable that way. All I'm seeing is space for 2 more Raptors. I don't think that... Look, I love birds, Thomas, but I don't think that thing can tow that. I don't think an F-350 can do that. That is an F-350, I'm pretty sure. You learned, yeah, Pharaoh. Yep, towing 101. Payload mass should be as far forward in the trailer as possible. If you have payload mass behind the rear wheels, all that's going to do is create a lever effect, and these wheels end up being, the springs decompress on that, and you lose traction here. And if you lose traction, well, that means only your steering wheel's up here and the trailer wheels are touching the ground. And you have a pivot right here. Jackknife. Yeah, that's a really good way to jackknife your trailer at speed. I see this all the time, dude. I was during Route 154. During Route 154, this was one of the times, obviously, when I had the stream off. We were driving around Michigan. Me and Brimo's dad were driving around Michigan, and there was a dump truck that was carrying a tandem dump truck trailer, and the dump truck trailer was doing this. And I'm sitting there going, Joe, please don't drive near that. Please don't drive near that. And Brimo's dad, I didn't say anything, but Brimo's dad knew to not get near that the rear trailer was doing this. Telltale sign that your load's not balanced correctly. Why did they change the bells? These ones look more military. It's probably because they got it to perform better, Revroll. They said they were going to change the design even when the first Raptor rolled off the assembly line. If you put the engines forward, there's more stress on the truck instead of the trailer, which is a made-to-carry load. Yeah, something like that. Rocket Guy, what's up? Sea last for an experiment. Trailer stability. Oh, yeah. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, here, take a look at this, fellas. See? There you go. The payload has more moment over the trailer. Not good. Watch this. See? You load it like that. You have the center of mass of your payload in front of your towing wheels. It's pushing down on your rear wheels and it makes traction. Your rear wheels make traction. They become more stable. So you can... See how it automatically just stabilizes? Because it's pushing the rear wheels into the ground. Put it back there, it pulls the rear wheels off the ground and makes it jackknife. Load trailers front to back, always. Papa Bear, doing that right there is the equivalent of loading the rear cargo hold on an airplane and putting nothing in the front and having all the people in the back. This is center of mass behind center of lift. That's the airplane equivalent. Yeah, not very stable. It'll look like that plane that had all those college, that it was moving that college football team around. The plane landed, it pulled up to the gate, right? Everybody got off, and then the ground crew started unloading the front of the plane first. Whoop! You get this? Oh. Goalie, what? Oh, no. What the... What are you doing? Why would someone do this? Just, what are you doing? Anyway, let's check the Blue Origin recap video, and that will cap off space news. Here we go.
When you're up there, you see this beautiful, vulnerable blue planet. Remember, it's just our origin, and you guys are here at the beginning.
See if I can turn this up for you guys.
God. Weightlessness. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
This is
Oh, wow. I can't believe this.
Looks confused.
No description can equal this.
Oh, cool. Hadn't seen that camera shot before.
Everybody in the world needs to see. There is Mother and Earth and comfort, but what you see is black. What you have given me is the most profound experience I can imagine. I'm so filled with emotion about what just happened. It's extraordinary, extraordinary.
Does anyone else find it really funny that Jeff Bezos is just a socially awkward nerd just as much as the rest of us are? I like, you wouldn't think, right? I thought that was funny. I mean, you're right, Gabriel. They